There we are. Set all that up. What's going on, y'all? What is going on? Let's get the stream started. Let's see who the first comment of the day is. Let's see who wins the comment contest. Comment contest? Comment contest, maybe? I'm gonna sit back in the chair and let's sit back in the chair and wait. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got for the first comment of the day today. Chair's looking good. What's up, y'all? First, yes, sir. What's up, Matt? How are you? Official spot, you're number one. No one on YouTube yet, so you're the first one. What's going on? I can't believe it's already... Is it Wednesday today? Yeah, it's already Wednesday. It's incredible how fast this week is gone. Let's go. Let me get a chart up here. Hold on. I think if I just do this one and then let me hit the Coinbase. Yeah, I already did this one. Oh, we could cover this strategy. We could cover this scenario today if you guys want. We can cover this one. Good afternoon, my friend. What's up, Mike? How are you? We can cover this scenario today if y'all want. I got two different scenarios I'm tracking for Bitcoin. We can cover both of them today, actually. I did a YouTube video on it, but I hope all is well. I'm good. Yeah, pretty good. My wife made some sausage egg. No, not sausage egg. Not a breakfast sandwich. She made sausage, peppers, onion, like a sausage pepper sandwich for dinner tonight. So very good. Doing very well. We're fueled up. We're ready for the stream. Made it on time today. I'm not late. I know yesterday I was late by about 45 minutes, so we're on time today. We didn't sleep in till 10 a.m., which is good, but let me go to the weekly here. If you guys haven't seen the YouTube video and you're curious about the two strategies moving forward, I highly suggest go watching that. It's only 9 minutes. It's a relatively quick one. I'm still getting into the groove of longer form YouTube content. I don't really do any editing. It's just, I just turn it on and film and that's it. Like there's no editing, nothing like that. You know, maybe I could do a little bit better on the editing front, but I want it to be authentic. I want it to be, you know, my thought process. And that YouTube video today was all one clip. I didn't clip it up. It was just, I hit play and then went. There was no clip. It was just pure authentic, my thoughts. But I covered both scenarios in that YouTube video. So if you're curious about what's next for Bitcoin, I'd highly suggest go watching that because I did a pretty deep dive into it today. But really I mean, it's very hard for people to understand. Not hard for people to understand. I think sometimes, what's up, Matt? How are you? Well, first on YouTube, technically first on YouTube, we got some viewers over on TikTok. So I like your scenario. What's up, Coach? How are you? Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to showcase that. And, you know, I feel like it's not necessarily something that people want to happen, so they might ignore it. But it's a valid scenario. You know, could be a potential developing very large correction, which could put us somewhere between 50 to 40. If we go back to the first scenario, I think, which chart did I do it on? This one? Yeah, if we go back to the first scenario, this is actually the more, I'm not going to call it conservative scenario, but this is the more, this scenario ends the correction faster. I like scenario one. Yeah, I agree. What's up, Sparsh? How are you? I like scenario one too. This one being scenario one, guys. I like scenario one first better because it ends the correction sooner, which scenario two just prolongs it. And I don't want that to happen because that means we're going to have to wait another 3 to 6 months for the bottom, which is going to be terrible. Is this Bitcoin? Yeah, so this is Bitcoin. I was just talking with some of the, I guess I'll call them regulars, I guess. I was talking with the regulars of the stream that I posted a YouTube video today outlining scenario one for Bitcoin and then scenario two. and sort of what's next based on some invalidation levels. 83, 85K dead down. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would like to see, because if that happens, scenario one is the logical scenario, which I am leaning more towards scenario one. It's not that, I'm putting more weight. Well, actually, I am putting more weight. I'm putting more weight on scenario one, whereas scenario two, I'm not putting so much weight, but we also have to consider it as well, because if price does invalidate this scenario, then we have to think of, okay, what's next? Well, based on the structure, based on the price action that Bitcoin's having, scenario two is most likely the next scenario. So we also got to factor that in as well. Had to pop in. We have similar idea. Everyone else is super bullish. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to not convince, because I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just trying to share my thoughts. It's very hard for me to share my thoughts that may go against people's beliefs in what's going to happen next. And it's met with a lot of friction, right? Like, they think one way, I think another way. And, that creates friction. It creates, I guess, disagreement, but more of, a discussion. I'm more than happy to discuss other scenarios. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I feel like sometimes I'm met with more, like, not favorable discussions. It's just more of you're wrong, you're an idiot, and then they just leave. So I'm like, I mean, I'm willing to debate with you if you want to, step to the table, but unfortunately not a lot of people do. Hi, what's going on? I like scenario two. See, scenario two is an interesting one, because if we actually, if price actually does follow scenario two, so for those that have not watched the YouTube video, it sounds like some of the folks in here have watched the YouTube video, which is why they're saying I like scenario one or scenario two. So this is scenario two for those of you that are not, that haven't seen the YouTube video. So basically, this is on the weekly time frame, and this is discussing the next potential price movement for Bitcoin if scenario one's invalidated. We'll jump to that in a second. I'll show you what the invalidation levels are. But if you look at this structure in totality, let me label it here. Give me a second. Let's see here. So this being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we already know that's a 5-way movement. You really can't debate that. There's really not a lot of debating it. You have a move up, move down, move up, move down, move up. I mean, that's a clear 5-way movement. I think a lot of us can agree that that is a 5-way movement. I think a lot of the disagreement comes at this point in time after this 5-way movement. And this is where people, kind of have their own opinions, whatever. But if we look at it and we just take a step back, remove our emotional bias, remove our greed, remove our FOMO, remove all of our emotions from this market, we have to analyze it for what it is. And when we look at it, we have this 3-way move down, right? The A, the B, the C. I think we can all agree that that's a 3-way move. Down, up, down. Okay. Then we have this complex B, which consists of a 3-way move to the upside, a 3-way move to the downside, and another 3-way move to the upside, which I have labeled ABC. Now, in scenario one, which we'll jump to in a second, this downward movement is a little bit different, but it has its invalidation levels, which I'll get to in a second. If those prices get invalidated, this to me looks like a 3-way move down, a 3-way move up, and then we'll get another 3-way move down. I think we can all agree, if I zoom in on this, that this looks like a 3-way move down and then a 3-way move up. I don't think we can really debate that. We have a move down, a move up, and a move down. I think we can all agree that that is a 3-way move, which is corrective. Now, this is where a lot of people get tripped up on this move right here, because we've, pumped from 60 to 84. Everyone's getting bullish, yada, yada, yada. But if you look at it on the weekly time frame, what does it look like? This is not my bias. This is just showing you what the chart looks like, right? We have a wave up, a wave down, and then a wave up. That's another 3-way movement, which is also corrective. So what comes after that? Well, you get another 3-wave correction. So that would just prolong this massive correction, and that would take us probably to end of year, maybe October, November, December of 2026 to bottom, because we have this massive 3-way move down for the A, this three-way move up for the B, and then this three-way move down for the C. And using Fibonacci targets, or the Fibonacci tool rather, to gauge where a potential top is for the B wave and a bottom for the C wave, we can do that. Wave B's typically top between the 618 and the 0.5, which is between 84 to 89. That would be the topping point for this wave B, and then we get an ABC down, and the wave C usually goes to 1 to the 1.236 of wave A, so it means that the wave C down is equal or 1.236 times longer than this wave A, which would put us at 50 to 42K. That is scenario 2. This is the scenario that's more on the back burner for right now until invalidation levels are hit. Scenario 1, which is my main scenario, I think it's on this chart, looks like this. So let me get all this in the screen and then we'll go through it, but I'll go through some comments here. That is the right way to think, debate it out. Yeah, I'm happy to discuss for sure. Close over 85, weekly or monthly invalidation. No, so I'll get to that in a second as far as invalidation for scenario 1. That would be, there's an invalidation level there that I can get into in a second. Do you short Bitcoin? If the targets align, yes. And the structure aligns and the risk reward aligns, yes. This 4 is going to last 4. You're just moving that up. I don't understand. This 4 is going to last 4. You're just moving that up. I don't know what you mean there. That doesn't make sense. What's scenario 2? So this is the scenario. Well, this is scenario 1. The other one I just went through scenario 2, but I'm going to go through scenario 1 right now, and I'll show you the invalidation levels. And if those invalidation levels are hit, then this is the scenario. So if the invalidation levels on this scenario right here are hit, then we are basically in this scenario, which just means that the correction is going to prolong and it's going to take a lot more time to bottom. So scenario 1 is what we want. Scenario 2 is just the lengthening of the correction. That's all it is. I personally think you're wrong. That's fine. You can disagree. That's totally fine. How long have you been in crypto? For a long time. Not an idiot, but missed the bottom. Well, you can think that for sure, but until time proves otherwise, then the strategy plays out. You know, everyone looks like they're, you know, right now, but in due time we will see. But I've been in crypto for a while. I didn't miss the bottom by any means. I'm waiting for the bottom. Teacher, I want to know more. I do offer a coaching program where I teach people how to do this stuff. Do you think it is also possible to go down from now? Yeah, it's possible. So that's what scenario 1 is. So I'm going to get into that in a second. So this is scenario 1. These are daily candles, not weekly, just so you can see the entire structure. So we'll go through it. The A and the B wave are very similar. So we have the same A wave down. This is the A, B, C of the A wave. So that has not changed. The B wave is the same. We have this A wave up, B wave down, and then C wave up to make up this B wave up here. Now, the only difference in scenario 1, which is my main scenario, is this is what it looks like. So this is an expanding flat structure, which is an example of a corrective structure in Elliott Wave Theory. After a B wave, which goes above the starting point of wave A, you get a 5-wave move down, and in each wave, you get 5 subwaves. So this is the wave 1, and you have to have 5 subwaves in it, which is what we have. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is subwave 1. Then you get a pullback 2, so you get the A, B, C, pullback 2. Then after that, you get the wave 3, which also consists of 5 waves. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the subwave 3. Then we have the wave 4, which is right here. We have this A, B, C corrective for the wave 4. And then we're currently in the wave 5, which looks like this, if I can get it on a chart here, which consists of a wave 1 down, a wave 2 pullback, a wave 3 drop, this A, B, C, wave 4, and then we get one more drop, which puts us at 60 to 50K. The key invalidation level, this is on, I think this is on Coinbase's exchange. Some of the exchanges are a little bit different based on price, but nonetheless around the same price. The invalidation level of this scenario is 80 on this specific chart. Which one's this? This is crypto, spot crypto. 87,867. So that is the invalidation of this scenario. If price decides to go above 87,867, which is where wave 1 ends right here. So this is where wave 1 ends. Wave 4 cannot enter the territory of wave 1, meaning this would invalidate this entire structure. And if that is the case, then we go to scenario 2, which is this scenario right here. So this would be scenario 2, folks, based on the structure. So we have the 3-wave down, the 3-wave up, and then the 3-wave down to complete the bottoming structure. We ideally want scenario 1 because it means that the correction ends sooner. All we need is one more subwave to get to the bottom, and after that, we are finally finished with this entire corrective structure, and we would have the wave 5 of C. Bottom is in, and then we start reversing to the upside, and to the upside, my targets are between 200 to 300. That is my next target on Bitcoin to the upside once the correction's done. Scenario 2 seems correct in my opinion. It sucks, but seems right. Yeah, I mean, scenario 2, it just means the correction's going to last until like the fall, which means we got another 6 months of chop. I think it's possible we are pushing 82 today to fully fill the CME gap, and then we'll eventually fill in the CME gap back in 69, and then liquidity that was not closed back under 60. Hood dropped today. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no, Hood was up today. What do you mean? Hood was up today. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Again, 87,000, like the 87,800 level is the invalidation level. So if that happens, then we move to scenario 2. That's all that it means. So scenario 1 is quicker to the bottom. Scenario 2 is more prolonged, and it will also cause a lot of frustration for people because we won't bottom in the time frame that they want to bottom. Everyone will get max bullish, and then the rug will be pulled on them. And then guess what? That will provide a lot of liquidity for institutions to buy when you are panic selling. So in order for institutions to fill their limit orders, they need a lot of people to sell, which is you, aka exit liquidity, aka retail. They need you to sell your positions to the institutions, and that provides a lot of fear, which then you panic sell, they buy it up, then they run it up, then you panic buy, and then they sell on you. It's just a repeating thing that is an age old time. It just happens all the time. Retail panics, sells to institutions, then when it's up at the top. Do you think it's all spot? Okay, I answered that. I think Bitcoin has a ton of room to go up against gold, and we are in low key QE. Well, inflation's rising, so things are going to get a little more tight. They're not going to cut rates, so everyone's banking on rate cuts. It's not going to happen. How far back do you look? It depends on what you're doing. So if you're swing trading or long-term investing, it really depends on what your strategy is. This is the weekly time frame, and I also go to monthly and daily. Dude, love the blockchain necklace. Hell yeah. Do you think it is possible to go down from here? Yeah, if 87,800 is not filled, if we don't get up to that level, then yes, the next thing is reverse, yes. Let's see what we got here. Someone said, shut up, bro. It's going up. All right. Go ahead and buy, man. You will be perfect. Exit liquidity for institutions. Go ahead and buy, man. Any news about the wallets? Oh, yeah. I got to reach out. I've been meaning to do that. I got to do that. I got to find a way. I love you, man. I appreciate that. Quarter 3 or start of quarter... wait, yup. I feel like a lot of people are really bullish right now, seeing pie market, but predictions, which is telling me the end of the corrective wave is about to end before the drop out done. Yeah, I mean, everyone's flipped. Just because we went from 60 to 84K, again, it's only a 30% increase, guys. It's nothing crazy. But people have completely just abandoned everything and flipped max bullish and are FOMOing into long leverage positions here. They will probably get liquidated. How will you position for short? If the levels are hit that I want them to hit and the risk reward presents itself as a good potential risk reward. Is there a bullish scenario? Yeah, I mean, if we take out this higher lower low, then yeah, I mean, that would be a bullish scenario. That would flip this structure. So if we go, where's, I don't know, Kraken. I don't think I have anything on Kraken. So we can see here, and we can all agree on this, I think. On the weekly, we have this High, lower low, lower, high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, or you get the point. It's in a downtrend. You're bearish on the downtrend. If we were to take out this level up here, which is what? 97,000 something, like 98, 97,000, we would flip this structure to potentially neutral, and then we would see what price does. But again, buying right now to me carries a lot of risk just due to the structure. Do the structure, man. You got to go off structure, not emotion. If you're emotional right now buying, I wish you the best of luck. You handle so well the haters. I'm used to it, man. They come in here and they hate, but they don't have a plan. That's the thing. So, you know, at the end of the day, they can hate all they want, but they're going to be the ones panic selling when Bitcoin's at 60K, giving the institutions liquidity. So I'm not too mad about that. What are your top 5 cryptos? If you want some cryptos that are good, I showed this yesterday on stream. If you want like actual cryptos that are fundamentally sound, that will pass regulation once regulation comes in, here's some cryptos. Go to Circle's website. I know if you guys can't see this, just move on to landscape. I'm also broadcasting in landscape, not just portrait. But these are some examples of cryptos that I would personally look at, in my opinion. They're on Circle's website. If you guys aren't familiar with Circle, the stock is called Circle Internet Group. They're the company behind the USDC stablecoin. BlackRock's invested heavy in Circle, and they are basically the, I think, number 2 stablecoin behind Tether. But you have all these projects which are integrated with Circle. If Circle is going to integrate with a project, they're going to make sure that this project's going to be around for the next 5, 10, 20 years, because it would hurt their brand if they're integrating with some BS fucking tokens. So you have Algorand, Aptos, Arbitrum, Avalanche, CeeLo, Near Protocol, Stellar, Sui, WorldCoin, SCI, Solana, XRP, XDC, Polkadot, Polygon, Hedera, Ethereum. Like, all of these blockchains are listed directly on Circle. These would be examples of good quality cryptos to invest in. Avoid all the dog shit meme coins, in my personal opinion. But these are some examples of good quality regulatory ready cryptos. What do we got? What do we got here? We go down now. Soon. We'll see. We still gotta wait, man. We still gotta be patient. How does taxes affect doing day trading? Like, do you pay more taxes when you do this? If you day trade, then you are, the hell? Hold on. Someone's barking at my dog's barking at the front door. There's no one there. If you day trade and you like take a position, you make a profit, you're going to pay short-term capital gains on that, which is typically taxed at ordinary income rates. So you don't get taxed at long-term gains, you get taxed at short-term. Overall solid, but isn't the wave 3 of 3 a bit short versus wave 5? No, because wave 3, it just can't be the shortest wave. It doesn't have to be the longest, it just can't be the shortest. So if you look at this wave right here, wave 3 almost went down perfectly to the 1.618, which is the target for wave 3. So this is the wave 1, wave 2, and then wave 3 right here, which the wave 3 target is always the 1.618. And you can see we almost hit it to the exact number. I mean, look at this. Look how close we were to the 1.618. That means that this wave 3 down was almost 1.618 times longer in length than the wave 1, so it satisfies the rules. What do we got? What scenario does it go up if it breaks that 98K level? Altcoin CZ far wet. Yeah, unfortunately, until Bitcoin finishes its correction and starts moving to the upside in an impulsive manner, altcoin season will be delayed. Because if Bitcoin goes down, it also brings down altcoins. Is there a scenario where it doesn't have to correct anymore? Until price action delivers a situation where it's not corrective, then no. Unfortunately, no. I know that's hard to hear, but unfortunately, that's until price action delivers a 5-wave impulse to the upside, correction is still on tap. So until we get a 5-wave move to the upside, we're still in corrective. All this is a three-wave move. That's all it is. And if you look at the smaller time frames, I'll look at the smaller time frames with you guys today. So if you look at this whole structure, let me get it all in. So this whole structure, right? What do we want to look for an impulsive move, meaning the bottom is in? We want to see a 5-wave move up in a very impulsive manner. Something like this. Something like this. You see how... Oh, you can't see that. Hold on. You see how this move is very impulsive? You see how this move down is very impulsive? We moved very quickly, right? You had a huge move down in a short period of time. What does this look like? Comparing the two. This impulsive, this corrective. You can see the difference. Impulsive moves very quickly, correctives drag out. And you can see it on the structure on the daily. So if you zoom in here, you have this 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down, then this 3-wave move up. Like everything is corrective and choppy. That is indicative of a correction. And you can see that on here too, right? You have a wave up, wave down, wave up, then a wave down, wave up, wave down, wave up, wave down, wave up, wave down, wave up, wave down. I mean, everything is just 3-wave moves. This, to me, I mean, look how choppy it is, right? You're not impulsive. You're just a steady grind up. Everything is just 3-wave move, 3-wave move, 3-wave move. Like everything is corrective. So until we get an impulsive move, nothing on this chart screams impulsive, which means there's more downside. So what do we got? I'm scared for Solana. My next target on Solana is like 70 to 50 bucks. What do you call this method of analysis? Elliott Wave Theory is what it's called. It's a technical analysis style. It's not my only style. It's just one of. It's only up from here. Stocks at all-time highs and crypto will follow. All right, BP, take your bet, man. If you want to buy Bitcoin here in cryptos, go ahead, man. Be my guest. Why people think Bitcoin will go up more? Because they're emotional about it right now. Unfortunately, they're too much in their emotions right now and thinking that, you know, that this thing is just going to continue to rip. But you know, again, you gotta have a strategy and a plan, man. If you just blindly go in thinking that it's going to go up, thinking something is not a strategy. Opinion is not a strategy. That is not how you win in the market. Bottom isn't in yet. Yeah, no. Hood will come down because there's a resistance on there. There is a big institutional buy level at 63 though on Hood. So, or no, 68. Sorry, 68. What's up, Con? How are you? I'm good, man. I'm good. Let's see. What do we got? Long-term investing PLTR. I like PLTR, but I think there's more correction on the table. Why are there so many crime scene numbers in your chart? I don't know what you mean. What's your YouTube channel? Same name, just Nicholas.Cassesi. That's my YouTube channel. It's also in my Linktree account in my bio. So if you're not sure how to get there, just go to my bio, hit the link in my bio, and that has all my socials. So my Twitch, my Kick, YouTube, TikTok, X, the Discord, everything's in that Linktree account. Max said, love you, man. I appreciate that, Max. Love you too, man. Stop calling my house and telling my kids that you hate them. Shut up, Grayson. Oh, man. LOL, no one is bullish. Tell that to the X Twitter feed. But hey, man, if you want to be bullish, go ahead, man. Buy here. I wish you the best of luck. Dollar is expecting to lose strength close to midterms. So is this. So this is good news for gold, for Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, if the dollar loses strength, that does help risk assets for sure. Baby food stocks. Hey, it might be an opportunity. Everyone's shorting. No, it's scrolling too fast. Hold on. Do people have more long or short positions? We have someone in the Discord that monitors that. They have like the heat maps that they do. 6 green weeks in Bitcoin. 6 green weeks in a Bitcoin bear market has never happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost 5. 6. I mean, hey guys, you can take your positions, man. If you want to buy now and you get scared that you're gonna miss the bottom, be my guest, man. Just don't come back to me crying when the bottom comes and you're sitting on a potential 40% loss. Don't come crying to me, because I said it. I've been very vocal about it. You may hate me. You may disagree with my analysis, you may disagree with everything, but when it happens and we decline from 81K down to 55, when you're sitting on a 30% loss, don't say that I didn't tell you so. But they don't have a plan. That's the thing. So you know, at the end of the day, they could heat all the. I'm not saying. But yeah, most people just don't have a plan when they invest. I like the VIP group, but why do we only buy baby food ETFs? I gotta stop reading your comments, Grayson. I gotta stop reading your comments. Saying 40 to 50K is going to happen is the same as those who said 10K was going to happen and didn't. Well, I wasn't part of that camp, man. So again, it's different. It's different. It's different structure. You gotta look at the structure. Now, when you talk about it back here, that's a very different environment, man. That correction had already happened. We already had the big correction. We're still in that right now. You already had this A, B, C move down. I mean, you can see it on the chart. This A, B, C move down. We just haven't completed it. You got to look at the structure. It's different. Let's see. Where did you learn Elliott Wave? Books and then just practice. So books and then practicing myself. I'm not reading that comment, Grayson. You're going to get me laughing again. Any impulsive move to the downside this week? If we get an impulsive move to the downside, yeah. We'll see. What's up, Freddie? How are you? Okay, scenario 1 I think is more probable. Yeah, I mean, both scenarios look good. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I also looked at the book order in Binance, which is easier for institutions to push the price down and get all the liquidity that is still down there, more profit business-wise. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the monthly charts, we have a huge institutional selling zone right here on Bitcoin. This level right here is a huge institutional sell zone right there. And then you have an institutional buy zone bound here too. So these are kind of your two levels. You have a institutional sell zone here and an institutional buy zone there. Can we hammer Cosmet longs? What is that? What is that, Gonzo? You think it will go down? Yes. Bitcoin is going to 84K for the drop. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind 84K. That was 81 to 84 is my zone. Freddie will read them. Yeah, Freddie will read them. Nick, serious question though. Will you please not ignore this? Sure, Grayson. What's your question? Can you tell Dash USDT? I don't know what Dash USDT is. All right. What's your question, Grayson? And then if you look at the wave C too, so another thing that is part of Elliott Wave Theory is charting out the wave C, and the wave C currently, let me change this here. Give me a second. Let me get some of this stuff off. This is, you can't even read that. Hold on. Let me chart that over here. Give me a second. This to here to here. So that is the that was my target for this wave C. So this right here, A, B, and then C. My target was between 80, like about 81 to 84. That was my target for the wave C, right up here. Between 80 to 84 was my next target. Guy just says a bunch of letters and numbers. It's funny because you're here, man. You obviously keep coming back to the live, so I appreciate your concern. But yeah, take your pick, man. Go ahead and buy Bitcoin. Go ahead and do it. Do you have any recommendation on stocks for swimsuits for the elderly? All right, I'm done. I'm. You know what? Can I mute you? Is that a thing? Can I mute you? No, I can't. Oh, I can mute an account. I can mute them. I won't do it, but I could. What if the war ends? Will that structure play out if the war ends? When you say that structure, which structure? I'm just gonna say user 27. User 27. What when you say when the war ends, what structure? Just so I understand. To 55. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't know if the war is specifically going to cause the drop. Now, the question that I think is on a lot of people's minds, or at least the thought process on a lot of people's minds, is as soon as the war ends, we're ripping. That's on everyone's mind, right? It's like, well, the whole reason Bitcoin's getting held down is because of the war, right? I see a lot of posts about it sometimes on Twitter. As soon as the war ends, we get, massively bullish. I don't think the narrative behind the crash is going to be the war. I think it's going to be something different. It's going to be something completely different, because you have the Strait of Hormuz, or Hormuz, however you pronounce that strait over there in the Middle East. You have had that closed now since what? And companies are laying off at a massive rate. Private credit market right now is at a unique level. I mean, you have funds literally freezing people from withdrawing money out of these funds. I think it was Blue Owl Capital and BlackRock already did this. They have frozen funds. You can't take money out. So it's like, all right, the private credit market's under stress. You have ripple effects in the economy because of this oil stuff. You have inflation ticking back up. Let's see, what else do you want to throw in there? I mean, there's so many things, right? Who knows what the narrative's going to be to drive this bottom, but all I know is that institutions need fear. They need fear to fill their orders. And in order to do that, you need to create max fear and max euphoria. That is how they fill their orders. There is a massive institutional sell zone right here, which is what I believe price wants to go to, because people are max euphoria right now. They're max greed. They want to market buy, right? They want to get in as quickly as possible. So instead of using limit orders, they use market orders. So in this zone, we're going to see a lot of market orders, because people are going to be like, oh my God, Bitcoin's at 90,000. We're going to all-time highs. It's only what would that percentage be between 90,000 and all-time high? We're only 30%, 30-40% from all-time high. We're going back up, which causes people to buy with market orders in a frenzy, which this is an institution level where they have massive walls of limit orders sitting. As soon as this goes into here, it's going to meet a wall of institutional selling, which, if there's not enough retail buyers to break through this wall, then price will reverse to the downside. There is another institutional buying zone down here between 68 and 64. What do institutions need? They need max fear and max euphoria to fill their orders. Max euphoria up here to fill their sell orders. Max fear down here to fill their buy orders. When retail is panic selling down here, institutions are loading up in the fear. So again, take your pick. But again, guys, you got to be smart about your investing. Don't get opinions and emotions in the market. Have a strategy, have a plan. Take your pick, man. I can't tell you what to do. If you disagree with me, that's fine. If you want to play it however you want to play it, go ahead. But I'm not your emotional or investing therapist. You do what you got to do. If you want to buy, buy. If you want to sell, sell. It does not make a difference to me. Why are you laughing? We're not buying baby food ETFs, Grayson. What's up, Leah? The drop should happen no matter what, due to structure and algorithm, order flow, everything else. Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, the drop will happen, but it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. I don't know if there's going to be an impulsive move to the downside this week. If that happens, then that could be the start of the drop. But the street will bring it down or correct when they want it to. Yeah, I mean, it's just order flow. Whenever institutions buy and sell, they have massive limit orders, which takes a lot of buying and selling from retail to be able to fill those. Would you have waited for it to start? Would you have waited for it to start to drop before going short? No, I would just buy and sell where the institution sells. So if they're buying up here and selling up here, that's where I would put my limit orders to go short and my limit orders to go long. Just buy with them. Nick, you are the man. Sorry to distract you. No, Grayson, you good, man. I'm just messing. It's going to be a new virus. Have you guys seen that? I saw it on Twitter. My wife was showing me it today, that it's like it's something with an H, some virus that was caught on the cruise ship or something like that. Made $700 today from your swing trade ideas. Thanks for that. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Which one was it? Was it Tau? Was it the Tau swing trade? I'm assuming it's the Tau swing trade because Tau has popped pretty good from our entry. This is going to be hilarious when the drop never happens. Well, I'll reverse that on you. I'm going to give you the Uno reverse card. Hold on. Let me do that. Hold on. Uno reverse card. I'm going to give you this. This is what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a nice... wait, where's the blue one? A red one. I'm going to give you a nice red Uno reverse card. When the drop does happen, I'll give you this. I'll post it. I'll just post an Uno reverse. The hantavirus. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Tau. Yeah, Tau is ripping since our entry. Tau's been a nice one. I sold all but one. That's a smart move. I was thinking about taking profits, but I might let it ride. I like the structure. Something from China? Is it? Is it something? Or no, something with China. Oh yeah. I mean, who knows, right? You've been watching Lab? No. What is Lab a stock or is that a show? I don't know what Lab is. I mean, this was like a penny stock. Oh wait. Let me go back to Bitcoin because there's a question on Bitcoin. What do we got? Why is it so zoomed out? Oh wait, that's right. I went to the other chart, that's why. Could it not happen sooner, like at 1.236 as well? Does that still keep wave 4 valid as that level seems at invalid? Yeah, I mean, the price doesn't have to go to the 1.236. That is just the zone that Elliott Wave Theory is used as more of a guide of where price wants to go. So between the 1 and 1.236 is typically where the wave C ends. So it doesn't necessarily have to get to the 1.236, but somewhere in that zone is usually where it tops. Explain fair value gaps, please. I don't use fair value gaps. I know what they are, but I don't really use them. Hantavirus, I think. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. You think we're dropping? Well, these are weekly candles, so it's going to take a while to play out. I still have a 3 to 6 month time frame where I think a lot of people right now have a week time frame, and they think if the drop doesn't happen in a week that I'm wrong. But I'm playing off of weekly candles, man, not hourly candles. I kept my AOS and VeChain. Yeah, same. AOS and VeChain is going to rip. While it drops, that'd be a good time for you to learn how to read charts. Yeah. Dexter's Lab was a lit show back in the day. Buy me funded account, sir? No. I'm not going to buy you a funded account. You think we drop in? Yeah. Took a look at Hood. Can we take a look at Hood? Yeah. I mean, Hood was up today. I don't know. Who said it was down? It's up today. It's at, what, 79? Are we down a little bit after hours to, what, 78? Is that where we're at after hours? 78.30? Yeah, but Hood was up today. What do you think about FB dropping down or what? Well, my thesis is with Ethereum and other altcoins, when Bitcoin corrects, it also drives down altcoins as well, which includes Ethereum. So whenever that happens, and the structure also supports that as well on Ethereum. It does support one more move to the downside, yes. I mean, my next target on Hood, at least in the short term, is 81. Hello, Nick. Appreciate your analysis always. Can you look at the stock hymns? Yeah. Bro just yapping. Wait. I got something for you. Hold on. Don't leave yet. Don't come in and leave. Hold on. There you go. Right there. Nice little fat Uno reverse card. Looks like you yapping in the chat, man. A little Uno reverse card for you. Did you see the PSG coin today after they qualified for finals? I did not. Is PSG coin, is that one of the meme coins after the soccer team? Someone said, bro, just yapping. Bro, this is my live stream. I can go do whatever the fuck I want. If you don't want to be here, get the fuck out. All right, what do we got? Ethereum. You can start your own live. You can start your own live stream. Unk got my got my I don't get it. You come in here talking shit, and then I hand you the Uno reverse card, and then you completely go back on your statement. I would have respected it a little bit more if you held strong to the statement. I'm going to be honest. At least hold strong. If you're going to talk shit, hold strong. If you're going to back up on it, I don't know. Never mind, forgot about it. Okay. If you're going to talk shit, I'd rather you hold strong to the shit talking than back up on the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to shit talk, at least, you know, stick with it. All right. So on Ethereum, it is similar structure on Ethereum. So we can see here where we got. This is sort of the similar structure here. You kind of have this. You have the 1 down, the 2 up, the 3 down, the 4 up, and then we're currently in the wave 5. So if you look at this wave 5, you can see the structure is very similar to Bitcoin, right? We have this wave 1 down, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. It's very similar. I mean, this just looks like a massive, bear flag pattern, which kind of looks the same on Bitcoin as well. And you can kind of see that on the chart, right? I don't really trade flag patterns. It's not something I trade, but we have this 5-way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more leg lower, similar to Bitcoin. But if you look at it from like a pattern standpoint, you kind of have that, some sort of flag pattern on Ethereum, which, would be a bear flag pattern. You looked at wrong thing for Lab. It's not a stock. Lab USDT. Lab USDT. What's the market cap on this thing? Let me see. Hold on. Grayson, I see what you're saying in the Discord. Yes, I'm answering your questions. You said check out BB. All right, yeah, we'll check out Freddie. If you're still in here, I'm gonna check out BB next. Lab USDT. What's the market cap of Lab? Is this the right one? Yeah. 201 billion market cap. I mean, I don't really know what this crypto does. I mean, yeah, it's up a lot, but I have no idea what this thing does. I mean, yeah, I guess kind of the structure. I mean, it doesn't really have that much structure. I mean, maybe. And well, the 2 came low. I mean, yeah, I don't really invest in speculative stuff like this, man. This is not really what I do. Like, speculative cryptos, I don't really invest in. Can you show a bear flag that turned bullish? I don't use flag patterns. I was just identifying it because that's something that people can relate to. I don't use flag patterns, though. Which platforms do you use for day trading? And what do you mean platforms? I'm not sure what that is. What is a platform? Where is the next leg going for Ethereum? I want to say my target on it was about 1,700 to 1,500. As long as we stay above this, which was at 13, yeah. It was somewhere in like the 1,750 to like 1,400 range, somewhere down here. Somewhere right below this low, which would put us at a 30% correction. So if Bitcoin goes down 20, then this would go down 30. Just over $1 billion, it will be a massive short opportunity. Yeah, I mean, you could short it. Again, I don't really I'd more so deal with the larger market cap cryptos. I don't really go down the risk curve that much. There's no point. The larger market caps are more, for me, safer, but they also what's the word? Have structure to it. Like Lab just doesn't have structure to it, so I really don't know where it's going. Can VeChain reach $1? You and me, best guess, man. I mean, my next target on it's 43 cents at the 1.618, but you know, again, I think it just depends on how explosive the price action gets. Can you look at HIMS? Yeah, I'm gonna look at BB first, and then we'll look at HIMS. What do we got for BlackBerry? This is an interesting chart on BlackBerry. Let's go to the weekly. I just want to see what this structure... I mean, you kind of have structure here. You have this. Is that all in? 1, 2, and then you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you have a 5-wave move there for this initial wave 1. We didn't cross into that territory. So, I mean, using this structure... Oh, wait, I need the 1.618 on that. It's not showing. I mean, 242 would be the next impulsive move. I mean, that seems crazy to think about, but that's what it's suggesting. Trying to see if there's any institutional sell zones here on the 3-month. You kind of have this institutional sell zone here. Right here. So that's going to provide some resistance at around $9. But other than that, it doesn't really look like there's any other institutional sell zones between there. It's like, yeah, right around, what's this? Right around, yeah, right around like $9 is an institutional sell zone for sure. Right at that level. You have this drop, base, and then drop. So that would be a zone. You're kind of in one right now to some extent. Pump, base, drop. I mean, you're kind of in a monthly sell zone right here. You've already tapped it once. You're going in for the second time. So, yeah, the next zone would be up at 930. But longer term, I mean, this thing could go to 250. No shitcoins? Yeah, I don't really invest in the shitcoins. When could VeChain reach 43 cents the next 4 years or before that? I don't invest based on time, man. I invest on price, not time. But yes, I think in the next bull run, that was when we would see altcoins do their thing. DOT really doesn't have a lot of structure to chart out what's next, but yes, if Bitcoin goes down, that will also come down with it. Gold, I have in still just a large corrective structure, so I'm just waiting for that correction to finish. I'll be buying a crap ton in September. Yeah, as soon as this bottom, as soon as we start bottoming out, you know, over the next 3 to 6 months, I know people have very, very short-term time horizons. It's unfortunate because, you know, that's something that you really can't have when you're investing, is a very short-term mindset. When you look at something and say, all right, I'm going to invest in this asset based on the hourly chart or the 15-minute chart, you can't make a long-term decision based on that. That is going to be more intraday swing trading stuff. If you want to figure out what a stock or an asset's doing on the longer time frame, you got to look at the monthly candles, and those things take time to play out. I know everyone's freaking out about Bitcoin right now, but the larger trend's still bearish. The larger structure's still bearish. We're just in a corrective zone. S&P is a little bit different. I think there was a question about the S&P. The S&P is in its final leg 5. So this is what the S&P looks like. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when you look at this on the daily time frame, I don't know if I can get all this in the daily time frame, but this is sort of the structure of the S&P right now. We have this wave 1 up, wave 2, wave 3 up, ABC 4, and then this final leg 5. So this will complete a 5-wave move to the upside. And then if you look at the levels of a potential sell-off from where we're at, there is actually coinciding factors here, but this green zone is a huge institutional buy zone. So this is where a big banker institution bought here. And that level is between 5,600 to about 4,800. This is a massive institutional buy zone, which also coincides with a 0.5 fib retrace. So once we get the ABC down, this is the likely zone around 5,600, potentially 5,800. That's where I would look for the S&P to bottom. And this is also further confluence of scenario 2, which we went through already earlier on. When the S&P does this, so there's probably a little bit more bullishness for the S&P. We probably rise up a little bit more. Fine, whatever. We get a few more percentage points up. Then, hold on. Let me finish this point and then go to Bitcoin. I'll show you what I mean. So once we have this move up for the S&P, we'll probably have a little bit more upside for our euphoric wave 5. When that happens, we'll get a top here, and then we'll have this ABC corrective down. So the anticipated next path for the S&P is an ABC down. Take visual of this because Bitcoin has not proven itself yet to decouple from the S&P. If the S&P goes down, the overall market goes down, Bitcoin usually follows suit. So whenever S&P has a little bit more of a rally, it will also bring Bitcoin up with it, which if we go to the Bitcoin chart, here we go. If we go to the Bitcoin chart, the upper targets, if we continue rolling with the S&P, is, and this is why I think scenario 2 is something that I do think is going to happen. If we continue pumping up with the S&P, we could see between 84 to 89, and then we have this big ABC down. So that would complete the B wave here, and then boom, we get the A wave down, the B wave bounce, and then the C wave. So somewhere between, call it 89, 90 to 84, we should see this thing top out on one more wave up. Then we'll get the ABC down, and that will also coincide with the S&P. So if we look at the S&P, we most likely get one more wave up and then the ABC down. And if we look at the two structures, this is what will happen. Let me put the line there and make that yellow so you can see it. So this is the anticipated next path for the S&P, and ABC down. And then if we go back to Bitcoin, this is the next anticipated path for Bitcoin, this ABC down. So when the S&P does its ABC down, Bitcoin will also do its ABC down, and then we'll have a bottom in the S&P and a bottom at Bitcoin, and then we can resume the euphoric leg up to 200 to 300K for Bitcoin. But until that happens, this is the likely scenario. We probably see a little bit more upside on the S&P. The reason behind that is this. So if you take the reverse fib extension from the top of wave 3 to the bottom of wave 4, and then I gotta do this thing for TikTok, this puzzle piece thing, prove I'm not a robot. And then we put in the 1.618 and the 2, which currently sits at, let me move this, between 7,300 and 7,500. That is where the wave 5 typically tops. In between the 2 and the 1.618, between 7,300 to 7,500, we are currently in that zone. And then, lo and behold, we'll get the ABC corrective down, which looks something like this, which, if we put 2 and 2 together here, will coincide with the Bitcoin ABC down. So that is the next path for the S&P and Bitcoin. You can disagree with me. That's fine. I don't care. That is how I'm positioning myself. And when the bottom comes, I'll be buying a shit ton, and unfortunately a lot of people will be panicking, thinking that this bottom is not in, it's going to continue going lower. That's when everyone's going to flip to max bearish. Bitcoin's going to 10K, it's going to 5K, the correction's not over, we're in a war, the lockdowns are coming, whatever bullshit narrative comes out, then everyone will get super fearful, institutions will buy here, and they will unload the bags at 200 to 300K on you when you are super euphoric and super greedy at the top, because no one wants to sell, because they want to get rich quick and they lose their money. So that is the next path, folks. Bitcoin's going down, yeah, 100%. EOS, please. Yeah, we can do EOS. But does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Or am I just speaking on my ass and you don't even care what I'm saying? Should I just hold or is it worth selling? It depends what your goal is, man. I can't really tell you what to do. I can't give you financial advice like legally. That's not something that I can like legally give you. I can say that, it depends on what your goal is. Is it a swing trade? Is it a day trade? Is it a long-term hold? It very much is a different conversation if you're holding it for 3 months versus holding it for 2 years. It just depends on what you're trying to do with it. I know that most individuals, myself included, when I first started my investing journey until I got to where I'm at today, when I first started investing and I didn't really know too much about it, my time frames were really, really small. I wanted to invest in something and a week later sell for 40% profit. That you might get lucky here and there, but most of the time you're going to lose doing that strategy. You have to zoom out, have a longer term time horizon, or if you're doing swing trading or day trading, you have to be very disciplined and have a strategy. And if you don't, typically you will lose money trying to time and guess the market. Agreed, top isn't confirmed yet though. Yeah, I think there's still more upside for the S&P, which also probably drags Bitcoin with it. So we could see potentially 84 to 89. But as soon as the S&P tops, that will also drag Bitcoin down too. So what price do you see XRP going to if you have XRP at $1.90 and you dollar cost in average going down? I see between $1 to 80 cents on XRP. There is not very much stimulus to go further up for Bitcoin. It has isolated from Hormuz. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just following the S&P right now. The S&P's been on a rally, which, high tides lift all boats, or all tides lift all boats, whatever that saying is. That's kind of where it's at, right? And the one thing that I see NVIDIA in there, the one thing that has been a question, and I might have got some criticism for or whatever. I don't really give a shit. I'm not in the business of appealing to everyone's emotions and appealing to everyone. I state my facts, and if you agree with them, great. I don't do this for approval. I do it for myself. We have had a 5-wave move on NVIDIA. So when this thing corrects, it drags the whole market down. But if we look at it from a monthly standpoint, you have a huge monthly institutional buy right here between 108 to 87. So we have a huge institutional order right here between the 0.5 and the 0.618 if we were to correct from this current standpoint, which we would get an ABC correction. To me, NVIDIA is topped. Again, I say topped in the loose sense that there's limited upside left to go, and the more likely scenario is an ABC corrective down. When that comes, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is based on the structure and based on the larger time frames. Again, these are monthly time frames. It doesn't happen overnight. It could take 3 to 6 months for this to happen. But we do have a 5-wave move, and after a 5-wave move, you get an ABC corrective. I don't make the rules, man. That's just what happens. And when NVIDIA corrects, it will bring down the overall market. People will get scared. They'll panic sell because most people are buying NVIDIA up here. Most retail are just chasing NVIDIA because they think it's going to continue to go up forever. That's not how markets work. They go up and they come down. It's just the nature of things. That's like anything. Everything that goes up must come down. It's just how it works. But when this corrects, it'll bring down the overall market. It'll bring down a lot of things because the percentage weight of NVIDIA and all the Mag 7 on the overall market is truly insane. Gold. What do we got here? This chart hasn't changed in a while. But gold's similar, man. We've completed a 5-wave move, and I'm waiting for an ABC corrective down on gold. If we look at, let's see, if we look at the 3-month, I'm trying to see if there's anything here that would present. I mean, there is an institutional buy here on gold right here. And that also coincides with about the 0.5 fib retrace on that entire move. So that could make sense of a logical level. But we already have this 5-wave move up, on gold. You also have this institutional buy level back here. So that's another level down there. One right here. Let's see. Then you kind of have that on the monthly as well. So you have these institutional buy right here. So that would be a high confluence level, about 3,200. About 3,200 on gold. I would say you have an institutional buy here, but that's already been filled and we popped off. So you can see we filled this institutional buy here. We popped into it and then popped off. So that's already been filled. I mean, kind of another one here at 3,900. And you kind of have that as well. So there's some levels here. I mean, you kind of have this potential forming. So this would be the A wave down, the B wave bounce, and then you get a C wave down here. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. If we get a big drop on gold, this would actually be an institutional sell zone, which would, I mean, not necessarily be the best, but, you know, it is what it is. This is definitely an institutional sell zone on gold right here. So this whole zone is a shit. Messed that up. Hold on. Let me redraw that. This is an institutional sell zone right here for gold. So that's an institutional sell zone right there. So we could have this right here. This A wave down. Wrong one. Hold on. This is our A wave down, and then we have the A, B, C up into the institutional sell zone, and then we have the C wave down. So that could make sense. This would be our A wave, B wave, and C wave. So something like this, A down, B into the limit orders of the institution, and then a C wave down towards 3,900. Potentially lower, depending on how impulsive that move gets. But somewhere between this institutional buy zone and then this 0.5 an institutional buy zone down here, I think that makes sense. Between like 39 to call it 33, 3,200, somewhere around there. Your streams are very entertaining. I appreciate that. I try to make it as entertaining as possible. Bro, our technical analysis last week failed. Ha ha ha. The price went to 82K. I feel for you, man. I wish you the best of luck, man. I wish you the best of luck. That's all I got to say. I don't have time to debate with you. If you think the bottom is in, then be my guest. Buy as much of Bitcoin as you want right here, man. What the fuck are you doing? I'm educating people on how to do technical analysis and how to have a non-emotional bias in the market. It clearly sounds like you have an emotional bias in the market, so I wish you the best of luck, man. What's up, Jeff? How is it an institutional buy? That is something. Wait, Jeff, you're in the VIP. Did you watch the video of that? You're in the VIP, right? Did you watch the video that I did yesterday of the institutional buy and sell zones? Did you watch that yet? It's in the Discord, so go watch that and it'll make sense. Go watch that and it'll make sense. I'm not going to reveal that to everyone on here for free because, you know, I'm not going to give them that information. How join late? How do you say it's institutional buy and sell? That is something for the VIPs. I will not be revealing that information for free. Long-term targets for gold, please. Wait for the correction to be done first before we do any targets. Have you watched? No, thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jeff, go watch that video. You don't have to watch the whole thing in totality, but the most recent VIP coaching call from yesterday, I went through all of this stuff yesterday. Institutional buy sells are usually 100M plus either way. I'm not sure what that means. I like the mix of institutional order flow and Elliott Wave. Yeah, it's a very strong confluence, man. I really like it. I've been using it now for more of a shorter period of time. I've learned, like, Elliott Wave has been my go-to strategy, but I've been trying to enhance it and make it better. But the institutional order flow really provides a lot of confluences from where price wants to potentially go. You know, this does look like this is an A wave down, B wave up, and then a C wave of a wave A. Then we have this A wave up, A wave, B wave down, and then C wave up for a B. And my guess would be price will probably come to about 5,000 on gold. So let me zoom in here. Let me just clear the chart and then zoom in. All right, hold on. Let me zoom in here. So if we look at gold from the top back here, this is the top of gold. We can all agree that's the top. We have this drop, up wave, drop. So that is our ABC wave, which we can mark out here. We have this A, B, and then C. So we can mark that out. It's pretty clear on the chart. It's a three-way move. No one can really argue that. We have a drop, up, drop. That's a three-way move for our initial wave A. So that's our wave A there. And then where I think price will probably go next is this institutional sell zone, which is at about 5,000. And we will get something like this: A wave, B wave, C wave. And that'll probably stop out right here at around 5K. Then we'll get an ABC down on gold, and that will, complete. This will be the B wave up here, sorry, and then you get a C wave here, and then you get an ABC to complete that structure. So that's what I think's next on gold. Something like this. We have a C wave up to about 5K, and then we have a drop C. That's what I think's next on gold. Check Bitcoin chart. Yeah, we can go back to Bitcoin. What's your opinion on ICC if you've ever tried? What is ICC? I'm not sure what that is. Unless you mean ICT. Maybe you typed in ICC and said ICT. I don't really know what ICT is, to be honest. How does Elliott Wave Theory apply to SNDK or MU at the moment? They're going crazy, not respecting any TA. We did MU yesterday. One of the, I think Grayson's still in here. I don't know if he's still in here, but one of the VIPs had asked for MU, so we charted it. This is what it looks like to me. We have this 5-wave move up for a wave 1, a wave down, another 5-wave move up for a wave 3, a wave down, and then we're currently in a sub-wave 5 of a larger wave 5. And I threw on some fibs here that also kind of coincide with some institutional order flow. So if you look at this right here, once we retrace this move, if we correct this down to the 0.5, which would be a likely zone for a wave 2, so this is your entire wave 1 up here, and then you get an ABC down for a wave 2, right? Like that's how Elliott Wave Theory works. You get the 5-wave impulsive move up for a wave 1, and then you get a correction down for a wave 2. If we put 2 and 2 together of using Elliott Wave and fib targets, we have a 0.5 correlating with a massive institutional buy zone here. So this is on the monthly candles. We have this massive institutional monthly level on top of a weekly buy zone as well right here, right at around 363, which is also coinciding with the 0.5. So likely scenario is price will probably come down in an ABC fashion to about 363. That would be my target on SNDK for a bottom. EOS? Yeah, all right, we'll go to EOS. What about short-term, sir, like 4-hour or 1 day? On which I do that as well, but that's for more swing trading and day trading stuff. When I look at 4-hour, let me stretch my hip here. And the after 63, it will be bullish again. Depending. It depends on how structure develops. You can't really say like, all right, it's going to drop and then boom, it's immediately going to reverse. You kind of got to, I guess for lack of a better term, be patient with it. You just got to wait. But we are in a blow off top wave 5 for MU. So we already have a 5-wave move. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Buying now is chasing euphoria. I would avoid buying this. Again, my personal opinion. I cannot tell you what to do, but you are chasing a euphoric wave 5, so treat it with caution. But the next level, again, being somewhere around 410 to 363 would be my target for a entry on this for the long term. If this is something, it's been going crazy. If this is something that has some long-term targets to it, we could be looking at, say the top is in right now, and we go down to the 0.5, say we correct down to the 0.5, the next target on it would be 1,300, and the bottom target would be, where's my price thing? So 363 being the buy zone, 1300 being the sell zone. I mean, you're looking at I don't know, almost a 300% gain right there. Is it pouring rain outside right now? I think it's pouring rain outside right now. DM if you $50 is not small, I'll send ASAP. Don't do that. That's a scam. You know what? I'm just going to block you. You're not going to come back here and scam the viewers. All right. So MU, we did that. EOS. There's really no changes for me on EOS. I'm just waiting for price action to develop. You know, that being the price action. So I've already taken a chunk in EOS. I bought a little bit of EOS. When we correct a little bit more, I'll probably buy some more. But I did take a chunk in EOS. I think we had a nice like 30% pop this week. You know, does that sustain? I don't know, but you know, we had a nice pop this week. But my next target on EOS is still about $2 to call it $2 to $3 on EOS. That's my next target. And structure supports that. We have a 5-wave move for the wave 1 and ABC down, and then another 5-wave move. So the next target for me is about $2 to $3 on EOS. We'll see if we get there, but you know, if we get pretty explosive to the upside, we can definitely hit that for sure. What else we got? I mean, Hood had a nice pop today. SoFi still staying in there. SE had a nice pop today too, for those of you that were in SE. But also I forgot to mention this too with Bitcoin. Let me go to the monthly candle. So I am kind of leaning more towards scenario 2. I'm going to be honest. The way that price action's moving right now, I am leaning more towards this scenario. So this being the ABC up with the drop, right? So the reason why I'm leaning that way is there's an institutional sell zone right here. Right at the 618 fib at 89K. So if I zoom in on that, let me see, there we go. So this institutional sell zone also lines up with the 0.618 fib, which is where the B wave typically retraces to. So if we get a B wave up there to around 89K, that would also complete this structure. So we'd have the A, the B, and then the C wave right into institutional limit orders where price is most likely going to go, because you're going to have people in max euphoria, max greed, retail just buying a shit ton of Bitcoin, which is exactly what institutions want, because in order to fill their limit orders, they need market orders. So when retail is FOMOing in with market orders and leverage longs, institutions are dumping on them, which also coincides with this C wave up, and then we get an ABC down. So I'm actually kind of leaning more towards scenario 2, just given the price action and everything like that. And then if you look at this structure as well, another reason why I'm leaning to it is if we get this, say we get this weekly candle going up to 89, that would actually be perfect. And then we would have this institutional buy zone right here, which is right here. So we have a weekly institutional buy zone right there. And then we have another one down here. So where I could see price going is something like this. So going up to about 89, hitting this massive limit order wall by institutions. Also at the 618 fib, which is where the wave B typically bounces to. So we have the ABC of the larger wave B, which will most likely bounce up to about 89. You know, maybe we hit a wall at 87 and we don't get to 89. That's also possible. But then we could see an A wave down to this institutional buy zone. We get a B wave bounce, and then we get a C wave lower to this institutional buy zone. Then we get a B wave and then another C wave. So I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen, but theoretically, looking at the way that institutions are buying, that makes sense, because they'll offload their bags up here in the wave C, and then on the wave down, when people are panic selling, they'll have a huge amount of limit orders here and a huge amount of limit orders down here, which will cause retail to panic sell their crypto. Perfect for a wave A. Get a bunch of people buying. We can't crash through it, so we get a B wave bounce. Then we finally break through right into this institutional buy zone. We can't break through that zone, so we have this A, B, C. Can't break through. Then we have a B wave bounce, which is right here. Then we'll have a B wave bounce, most likely into an institutional sell zone, and then we'll have the C wave to complete the structure. So I am kind of leaning more towards scenario 2, just based on what price action is doing and what I do think that institutions are going to want to do. You got wrecked. What is now the plan? Oh man, how did I get wrecked? Please explain to me how I got wrecked. I'm more than happy to indulge your I guess thesis, whatever you want to say. Sup man, what's up, Manny? What's going on, man? I want to wait for you got wrecked. What is now the plan? I want to wait for his response as into how I got wrecked. I would love to hear it. Sonny, what's going on? So what would Bitcoin drop to? In this scenario 2, Bitcoin would go to 50 to 42. So between 50 to 42K would be the target. I think. Wait, let me make sure. Hold on. Let me remove this. So from the starting point of wave A, hold on. Wave A is up here, A, B, C of this A wave. So wave A is here, wave B is here, wave C up here. I'm sorry. The target would be 40 to 30K. Sorry, 40 to 30. My fault. Between 40 to 30K would be the target. Now, it doesn't have to go there. We could be shallow, but 40K, if wave C is the same length as wave A, 40K would be the target. So basically, we would have this A wave, B wave, C wave of this A, B, C up for the B, and then we get an A, B, C down for the C, which would put us at about 40K would be the zone. And if we look at it on a monthly time frame at 40K, look at that. Look what's also there at 40K. This massive institutional buy zone right there at 40K. So there's an institutional buy zone right here at 40K. So that also coincides with scenario 2. The levels line up, man. The wave C is equal to the length of wave A. So we top out at 89 and then we bottom at 41. We fill all the limit orders here on the sell side, fill the limit orders here, fill the limit orders here, and then fill the limit orders here. There is a massive untouched limit order demand zone here for an institutional buy zone at 41K, which is I think where BlackRock bought. BlackRock bought here around 41K. Down in this zone right here, which is another institutional level. And if we come down to the same length as this wave A, then we would sit at 41, 42K. That would be the zone. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So you think it will go up to 84 before dropping? Yeah, 84 to 89. 84 to 89 would be scenario 2. We would also, if we are going to coincide with scenario 1, which is on the other chart, that would be an invalidation level of 87,800. So as long as we don't pump above that, scenario 2, it wouldn't be valid. It would be scenario 1. 40K, yeah, about 42. An imbalance, yeah. So there's an institutional buy zone there. You can tell based on this. So if I look at this is monthly. This is not weekly. So if you look at this candle right here, we have this. We have an impulsive wave up. You can see that, right? We have this huge impulsive wave up, right? Right here, we have an impulsive wave up. Then we have this balance candle, which, you know, I think that's a doji candle, whatever you want to call it. But you have this balance candle right here. So you have an impulsive wave up, a nice balance candle, and then you have another impulsive wave up. I mean, look at the massive candle on this. Retail can't do that. That's institutions, man. You can't have a massive candle go from 42K to 61. That's institutional money, man. There's not enough retail buyers in the world to call a candle like that. So you have an impulse balance and then an impulse. That is an institutional buy zone, which you can call an imbalance in the market because there are more that you hit a massive wall of institutional buys there. Sell in May and go away. There is also seasonal weakness for sure. Hood shorter time frame. My next target's 81. There's also an institutional buy zone at 73. But how about your invalidation zone, which was 89K that you talked about before? So that is an invalidation zone of scenario 1. That doesn't mean that scenario. That's why you gotta have scenarios, man. So this is scenario 1. And if we go above 87,800, it invalidates this specific scenario, but it doesn't invalidate the larger thesis that we're still continuing to go down. So this is the scenario 1, which is my main scenario, which has an invalidation level at around 87,700, 87,800, depending on the exchange you look at. So if this wave 4 goes above 87,700 to 800, depending on the exchange, then we move over to scenario 2, which is this scenario. And again, it's based on the structure. I'm not just throwing random scenarios out there. It's based on the structure. Everything is structure driven, not my opinion. We have a 3-wave move up. That is not impulsive. That is corrective. And you and I both can look at this together. Look at this structure and tell me this is not 3-wave. Wave up, wave down, wave up. That is a 3-wave structure, right? I don't think we can really argue that because it looks corrective, right? You have a wave up, wave down, wave up. That is corrective. That is not impulsive. That's not what you want to see off the bottom. You want to see a 5-wave move, something like this. You want to see a super rapid expansion wave off of the low, which is not what we had. So this would be scenario 2 if 87,800 is invalidated. If price goes above it, then the next target would be between 87,680 and 94 for the massive monthly imbalance from an institutional sell. You can see this on here as well. We have this huge drop, base, drop. You guys can see that. It's a huge move down, balanced out, huge move down. This is an institutional sell order right here. That is where some big, massive institutions sold here. They didn't fill all their orders, and price likely is going to go back up there to fill all their orders. And because there's probably more orders than retail can handle, price will reverse down after that. And that would fulfill this scenario being an ABC wave. So A up, B up, or down, C up into the limit orders, and then we have our ABC down. So to me, that's the next scenario. Again, you don't have to agree with it. Got it. Makes sense. Thanks, bro. Yeah, absolutely. We must remain patient. Patience is the hardest thing to do, but is the most important thing to do. So you got it right. You nail on the head right there. Nail on the head. If you cannot be patient in the market will eat you alive and it will take your money. It does not care. You are competing with the smartest and you're competing with institutions, man. You're competing with the BlackRocks, the State Streets, the Charles Schwabs, the Morgan Stanleys. You don't think they know what they're doing? These guys get paid to do this shit. They're not out here just saying, oh my God, look at price, I'm going to go buy. No, they have limit orders set. They have a plan. They have a strategy. You are competing with massive institutions. So start acting like it. If you want to act like a retail investor and just FOMO your money into crypto because you think you're going to get rich quick, be my guest. Be my guest. You can do it. No one's stopping you. All you got to do is open Coinbase and hit buy. But if you want to actually take this shit seriously and compete and have some competition, you're competing with institutions. They're taking your money, man. That's what they're trying to do. They are just as greedy as you are. What is the whole point of investing in a market? What's the whole point? Make money. But you're competing against super competitive institutional money. You gotta have some discernment, man. You gotta be able to determine what's next. Where does price want to go? Have a strategy, have a plan. Don't just blindly throw your money at something and hope and pray that it's going to go up because you're going to get rich quick because you saw some video on TikTok saying, you got to invest in this asset. It's the next 100x. Ignore that stuff. That's all marketing. And most of it is promotional videos. I get outreach all the time. I've built up a significant following now. I'm very fortunate, very blessed to have done so. It was a lot of hard work and continues to be hard work, but I get outreach all the time from promotional videos for cryptos, for stocks, for exchanges, for all this crap. They're like, hey, promote my coin, we'll give you $2,000. I'm like, I don't want your money. That's not something that's of interest to me. I don't want money to promote scam shit. But most of the people on the internet are not like myself. They don't really abide by that. They'd rather take the money because they want a brand deal, and then they're going to promote some dog shit crypto. That's who you're competing with as well. You got to remember that people on the other side don't always necessarily have your best interest in mind. They'd rather take the money and dump a scam coin on you. And you see it all the time, especially in crypto. How many crypto influencers have pumped some dog shit meme coin to you, and then you thought you were going to get rich quick, and then it dumps? It happens all the time. You got to be patient, and you got to have a little bit of discernment on that. They're sharks trying to kill us. Yeah, I mean, we're the small fish. They're the sharks, man. So you gotta play that as well. Ethereum, I have more downside on, man. I have a little bit more downside on Ethereum. Good. Then I get more cryptos cheap. Yeah, when that downside, I'm stacking cash right now. That is my goal. I'm trying to get cash on the sideline to stack up for when the drop happens, so I can deploy at cheap prices. So a bounce there is what you're saying. This level right here, you mean? I think the bounce, this would be a most likely target for price to go to and then see a retracement out of. That's what I could see for sure. Dot still in corrective mode. We've already looked at it before. Bullish megaphone. I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about this maybe? I don't really do patterns, but I think this is what you're talking about. Maybe this? Is that what you're talking about maybe? I'm not sure. Possibly. We might chip up there a little bit more. Maybe we come down here, come up here to the top, get rejected here, and then dump. Maybe. Again, I don't really do patterns, so that's not really something that I do. Do you trade specific time? No, so I mean, I take swing trades. I take, some day trades, mainly more swing trades, and then, obviously long-term positions, but it's not like a blind copy sell thing. Like I want people to be able to, be independent and also be able to, take trades on their own. So majority of the VIP stuff is more for like coaching, membership, training, but also, providing market analysis to analyze, specific things, saying like, hey, here's a potential opportunity based on this chart, and then here are the levels that I'm watching. So it's more so like market guidance and coaching than it is just a blind copy trade thing. Because I want people to be self-sufficient and be able to have confidence to trade themselves using the strategies that I teach. So for sure, when Bitcoin goes down, it'll pull sold down basically. Yeah. So when Bitcoin goes down and the overall market goes down, most altcoins will correct with it as well. They make money when you lose money. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like when you sell to them, they make money. It's just the name of the game, right? At certain times, your opinion can be wrong, mate. Yeah, 100%. You don't have to agree with my analysis, but I've been right since December, so I'll let my work and my track record speak for itself. That's not me bragging or being anything like that. That's just me, documenting my work on TikTok and then going back and saying, well, I've called every move down since December. So, wave 4 crosses wave 1. I'm not sure what you mean on that. Well, that's in scenario 1. Yes, if wave 4 crosses wave 1, then it would invalidate, and this would be the scenario we'd looked at. Yes. What's up, Dan? In your 2K scenarios, what is your opinion of what happens? So regardless of each scenario, both of them leads to downside. I'm not doing that to just like, be a bear and just like farm engagement. Like that's not why I'm doing it. It's just the structure leads to more downside. It is what it is. It's not my opinion. It's just what the structure and the chart suggest. But both scenarios still lead to downside. In this scenario here, we still have, where's the 1 and the 1.236? So the levels on scenario 1 are still 60 with a potential extension down to 46. That's scenario 1. As long as 87,800 doesn't get invalidated, meaning the wave 4 pushes into the territory of wave 1, that cannot happen in Elliott Wave. So if wave 4 goes above like 87,800, 87,700, depending on the exchange, some of them are listed a little bit different, like Coinbase is different than Kraken, but somewhere around that range, will be the invalidation level for wave 4, and this will cancel out this whole structure, which then will present the opportunity for scenario number 2, which is this scenario right here. And the bottom that I have for this scenario based on the fib targets would be around 41K, which also coincides with an institutional demand zone, aka there's a huge limit buy orders down here from an institution. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 89 and then come down to 41. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I missed out on the circle dip. Think we still have time? Maybe. I say that and maybe because there is actually an institutional sell wall. I think it's on the monthly. Yeah, it's on the monthly. So there's an institutional sell wall here, and you can see it on the chart. So we have this base drop. So there's an institutional sell wall basically starting at around 127. So we're kind of approaching that right now. So 127 being the institutional sell wall, and then an institutional buy wall. If this monthly candle closes, we still have 22 days. So it's a little bit hard to determine if this is going to be an institutional buy or not, but based on the price action right now, this is actually an institutional buy zone right there. So you can see that, right? We have this impulse up, balance, and then this impulsive monthly candle. We most likely go to about 127, and then we see a reaction down. You can already see on this chart, we already hit it once. So who knows if there's still orders there, but you can see this, right? We had this institutional sell zone here. Price pumped up into it right here, right? You see that. The wick was into the institutional sell orders right here. And what do? We rejected out of it. So we have an institutional sell zone here, institutional buy zone here that's pending. As long as this monthly candle closes somewhere up here, that would be an impulse, balance impulse, which would mean this is an institutional buy somewhere around 98. So if we jump up into 126, I wouldn't be surprised for us to retrace to about 98. So I would say there's probably time. I would say there could be time on a pullback for sure. So break 90 on the way to 94. Yeah, I mean, it's really like 87 to 94 is the institutional sell wall. If Bitcoin goes to 42, where do you think XRP will go? I mean, my next target on XRP is like $1 to 80 cents. We could go down lower just depending on how explosive the move gets, but $1 to 80 cents would be the target. Do you think it breaks 87,600 was what I meant? I hope scenario 1 is the case. I also hope scenario 1 is the case as well, because scenario 1 is the correctional scenario that will happen quicker. If scenario 1 happens the way that I think it's going to happen, we get a pump up to around 84, and then we get the fast drop all the way down to 60K, which will complete the structure, and that will finish out the entire corrective structure. So we would like to see that happen, but again, it's still too early to tell. We just gotta let. Oh, there's also an institutional weekly sell order here. So this right here is an institutional weekly. We're actually in it right now. So we'll see what price does on the weekly, but there is an institutional sell wall right here. We're also in it right now, and you can see price has tapped into it and kind of rejected out. On the daily, there also is right here. So you have this zone right here is an institutional sell zone right there. So around 124, we'll probably see a reaction. So around 124, we'll probably see a reaction on Circle. We have daily, weekly correlation here at this institutional sell wall. We'll probably see a reaction at that level. I could see us probably retracing there. I don't really see any other zones to the downside. You know, this is a weekly zone right here on top of that monthly. So somewhere around 100 to 98 would be a buy zone. 198 would be a buy zone on Circle. What would you do with 100K start 10-month dollar cost averaging or wait for lower prices? So I can't legally provide you financial advice of what to do. I can give you my opinion. I would say, you know, focus on strong alts, focus on strong companies, and you'll do fine. What's up, y'all? What's going on? Go Habs, go. I don't really know what that is. Can you pin Bitcoin will go to 41K so we will screenshot it and make fun of you when it doesn't? Sure, yeah. And then when it does happen, what do I get to do when that happens? So I get to make a video and shout you out and say that you were a dumbass? Is that what I get to do? You got to remember, it goes both ways, man. You can make fun of me you want, but you got to be willing to take the crap when it happens. What are some good courses in your opinion? I mean, I would focus on books. If you want to learn Elliott Wave Theory, there's a book you can read. It's called Elliott Wave Theory. That's what I started with. But I would focus on books, man. YouTube's riddled with bullshit. Juicy Juice, what's going on? It's so funny when the haters come in, but they never want to back it up, man. They got no plan. They'll panic sell, and then I'll buy their shit when they panic sell at the bottom. When it goes to 41, 50 to 41, somewhere in that range, they're going to be panic selling, being like, oh my God, we're going to 10K. It's a tale as old as time, man. Tale as old as time. But yeah, Circle, we should see some retracement. I think the next buy zone, if you get an opportunity, would be around 98 to 100. 98 to 100 would be a good zone for Circle. Are you thinking we are seeing lower than 50 to 60? Possible, yeah. 100%. 100%. What time is it? Almost 8. I got time for like one more chart, and then I'm going to log off for tonight. But I appreciate all the haters coming here, because when you guys are in here and you're engaging, it actually boosts the algorithm. So lo and behold, you actually helped me, so it's not bad. I'm a hater trying to back it up, and you brush over my thoughts. You haven't posted any thoughts, man. I've looked at the comments. You got nothing. What do you got? I'm happy to look at it. What you got? These crappy comments are a distraction. Nick, you're doing. No, I like to call them out so that they can tell me what their information is. They're always silent. They never say anything. You're doing great to educate us. If someone does like what they hear, they should get out from the stream. Yeah, I like them coming in here though, because when they come in here, they think they're like amazing, and then when it's so funny because on Bitcoin, for example, I remember it. It was hilarious. I remember back here, this zone right here. I remember back here, I was saying the same thing. Bitcoin's due for a drop, and everyone was like, "You're an idiot. You're wrong. Nah. We're going to 120K. Can't you see we're at what we're at? Can't you see we're at 98K? We're going to 100K. We're going to all-time highs. You're yada yada yada." And then the price dropped, and they were nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. I was like, "Where'd y'all go? Y'all were talking so much shit, right here." But then when the drop happened, they were nowhere to be seen. And then they were nowhere to be seen during this drop. They were nowhere to be seen down here. They were nowhere to be seen here. They were nowhere to be seen here. And then right around here, they started to pop up again. They started to pop up right around this level right here, around like 74 to 80K. That's when they started to pop up. And then they're getting more and more, there's more and more of them popping up now that we're at 81. I think it's hilarious. I think it's good. I think it's good stuff, man. Bitcoin gold chart. Okay. Bitcoin, what is it? GLD or Bitcoin XAU? Bitcoin gold. Okay. All right. So what am I looking at? Bitcoin gold. What am I looking at? Bitcoin gold, 65K when I flip bullish. I don't know what you mean. I'm looking at Bitcoin gold, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at. So I'll give you the ability to go through here. What am I looking at? What is your thought process that apparently I keep ignoring? What do you got? Bro, no hate, but you have been in Bitcoin for like a year. Some of us have been in for 8 years. How do you know I've been in Bitcoin for a year? How do you know? Do you know that? Or are you just making claims that you don't know? You have no idea what I've been in and what I've been not in. You're just making claims to make claims. Okay, so your name is No. Okay, so weekly chart. All right, I'm on the weekly chart of Bitcoin gold. What am I looking for? I'll give you some time to think. Well, you also have to type it out too, so I'll wait for you to type it out. Until you type out your stuff, I'm going to go to Joby because Christian Cowboy has a question about Joby. So whenever you finish your thought about Bitcoin Gold, I will go back to it. Joby. Oh shit, Joby's pumping, man. That ripped today. That's a nice move. $8 to 10. What did I say our next target was on this? 33. Yeah, 33. That's a nice move though. Now this is an interesting spot for Joby. We do have this institutional sell zone here. Right here, we have this institutional sell zone right up here. So I would expect around $13. You would see some resistance. This is also an institutional sell zone right here, which we're in, and then this appears to be a developing institutional buy zone there. So you're kind of chopping in between the two. But if we can clear this sell zone, the next target would be about $13. That would be the next target, about 13 bucks on Joby for this drop, base drop, institutional sell. There's probably a lot of limit orders there, but somewhere around $13 is probably the next target. On the weeklies, yeah, you kind of have that a little bit. You kind of cleared this zone right here, which was an institutional sell zone. Kind of have this institutional buy zone right here. Yeah, I mean, $13 would be the next target. You have this institutional sell zone right here. Yeah, somewhere between like $13 and $14, you'll probably see some resistance. Okay, so I'm sitting at an average of 16K an hour for I know small. Should I sell a portion now? I can't legally tell you what to do, man. But I do think there's more downside. That's just me. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. All right, no, I'm still waiting for your opinion on Bitcoin Gold. What you got, man? I've been waiting. I got nothing. You said I ignore your thoughts. I'm waiting for you to type your thoughts. So what you got? If you don't have any thoughts, then maybe you should not comment hate comments on other people's streams because clearly you cannot back it up. So just throwing that out there. More than happy to have a debate with you, but if you're just blindly going to comment hate comments and just bullshit, but can't back it up, then I'm going to probably ignore your comments moving forward. I'll give you a couple more minutes to type, and if I don't see anything, I'm moving on to the next chart, which will be SanDisk, and then we'll call it a day. Oh yeah, don't ignore me. Gons. Now, Gons, what you got? What you got, Gons? I'm still waiting for No to give me his response. Someone said LMAO bum. I mean, he said that I was ignoring his where was it? He said, I'm a hater trying to back it up and you brush over my thoughts. Yet when I ask about his thoughts, he's nowhere to be found. No, I don't want to block him because I want to see what he's got. Let's see what he's got. Not you, Nick. You're great. No, I was talking about, I know who you were talking about. It wasn't me. I know that. Not a little hat. Check Iron Stock if you have time, or maybe later. I can do it tomorrow. Actually, wait, I got a webinar I got to go to tomorrow, so I won't be on TikTok Live tomorrow. I got a webinar I got to do tomorrow around like 6:30. So haters probably long gone after you burn them. Yeah, I don't see them. They're definitely not here anymore. He said that I ignore his thoughts, and then when I asked him for his thoughts, they were nowhere to be found. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Let's go to NSBK. TikTok Live is more important. No, those comments are from TikTok Live. Oh, wait, no, TikTok Live is more important. Oh, man, you guys crack me up. Can we do baby formula mixed with creatine stock? Yes. All right, so what do we got on SNDK? Well, the two things that I look at are, they also coincide with zones for Elliott Wave Theory, but if we look at it on the monthly, as long as this is a valid zone, let's see. And it is. Okay, so on the monthly, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the fifth. So we're in a wave 5 already. We also have this institutional buy zone right here. And another institutional buy zone right here. Oh, wait, I marked it in the wrong wick. Hold on. Right there. Okay, so we have two institutional buy zones. Lo and behold, look where they're portioned. They're in wave 2, in wave 4. So funny that it also lines up with Elliott Wave Theory, but we have an institutional buy here and an institutional buy here, which is also coinciding with the wave 2 and wave 4 correction, which is typically where institutionals buy because they know when to buy. So a good start for SN or SanDisk. The wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3, the wave 4, and then the wave 5. Let's see on the fibs where we could potentially correct to if this is the top. Let's see. So if we get a correction, which also coincides with that monthly zone, if we get a correction down to the 618, which is at 563, that also coincides with that monthly zone, guys, that we just looked at. So actually, let me move this over so it's not impeding the view. But look where that price is. The 618 coincides with the monthly institutional buy. So we have the 618 and the monthly institutional buy coinciding. I wouldn't be surprised if price retraces down to that level. So let's look at the weekly. The weekly also has this, you know, institutional buy zone here, which is again near the call it 700 to 562 zone, somewhere in that zone. Daily, let's see the wave 5. Let's see if we have 5 waves on the daily. Let's see. See the weeklies. Does the weekly show anything different? Not really. Maybe the 4s. Maybe the 4s is going to show something different. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a wave 1. Wave 2, wave 3, 4. You probably have one more leg up. You probably have one more down and then one more leg up to complete the structure. That to me is what it looks like. So you probably have a little bit more upside and then a correction. So, you know, take that for what you will. Let's see. I'm extremely bullish on baby formula creatine snack. You forgot to close the door. What door? Oh, my closet door? Yeah, I forgot to close that. What is your price value? On SNDK, somewhere between like 700 to 562 would be my bottoming zone. Price is currently at 1400. Oh, wait, here we go. We got them back. Zoom out on Bitcoin Gold chart. We are getting a bearish retest, which puts Bitcoin Gold to new all-time highs. Bitcoin XAU. Zoom out. We are getting a bearish retest, which puts Bitcoin USDT to all-time highs. Okay, you care to explain? Because this just looks like a 5-wave move down on Bitcoin Gold, man. Just looks like a 5-wave move down. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're waiting for the 5th. That's all it is, man. That really doesn't explain things, man. You got to be a little bit more explanatory than that. If you're just saying a bearish retest and that puts Bitcoin at new all-time highs, it doesn't really make any sense. But you can see on Bitcoin Gold, too, we still have this 3-wave correction. A, B, C for the wave 4. So we still have this wave 4. It actually looks a little bit cleaner on Bitcoin Gold, to be honest. We have this 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, and then 5. So looks to be one more leg up, or one more leg down for Bitcoin Gold, to be honest. USDT lost structure. Man, you said I was ignoring your thoughts, but you don't really have any thoughts. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what to do with your thoughts. You just said USDC lost structure. All right, we're on USDC. What structure did it lose? We're on USDC crypto market cap. What structure? I don't this doesn't look like anything. We lost structure. Dominance, maybe? Maybe you're looking at dominance? I don't really know how it lost structure. We're still within inside of this level here. Yes, sorry. Alright. I guess I will go based off of Ghouli's comment and say to ignore the haters because they clearly don't know what they're talking about. So, anyways, we're going to move on. Are we still going lower for Bitcoin? Yes. Retest, what do you think of INNQ? I'll do that last chart and then we'll move on. IONQ. Nick, I'm hungry now. What you getting? Pizza, Freddy? What you got? Pizza or tacos today? Well, yeah, tacos, what, yesterday? What you got today? INNQ to me is just in a wave 3. That's all. 100 to 126 is my next target. If we look at institutional zones, we have this institutional sell zone up here, which actually is going to provide some resistance on INOQ, whatever, how you pronounce this one. This is the institutional sell zone right here. So that's going to provide some resistance up at around $62. That'll provide some resistance. We are pumping into it, but we should be met with a big wall of sell orders here. Let's see, anything else? We also have this old institutional level here, but we already broke through it, so I wouldn't call that valid. But there is an institutional sell wall here between 62 to about 84 would be the next zone that I think we could see some resistance in. And if that's the case, you know, that would actually make sense because we would have this as our wave 1. So this would be our wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 into the orders, wave 4 pullback, and then another wave 5. That would make sense. But you are going to see some resistance up in this area for sure. Let's see. What do we got? Can you tell about your paid group? How do you join and what do you get? Yeah, absolutely. So all the information's in the link in my bio. I have like one of those Linktree accounts which contains all of my socials in it. So it has my YouTube, my Twitter, you know, all that stuff, Twitch, Kick, all that good stuff. So in there, it also contains the VIP group. It is more so a coaching, but also I do provide, you know, market analysis and potential setups and things like that. But it's more geared towards coaching, you know, both from like a discipline standpoint of having emotional control and not, you know, putting your emotions in the market. So there's a lot of coaching involved, which is well, we've changed it up a bit just based off what the VIPs wanted. So we had a poll today. Originally, there was 3 coaching calls a week. So we had a coaching call every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Instead of that, we ran a poll today, and it does seem like we are going to get, let me check the poll actually right now. Let me see what the poll is actually looking at right now. Where's the poll? What are we at? Because we were running a poll to see if they wanted 3 coaching calls today or a week. So we have 9 votes. Instead of doing a live coaching call on Sundays, they have voted to, there's still a lot more time to go. I made it for 3 days. Not everyone has seen it yet, but everyone would rather me analyze the charts offline as opposed to doing the coaching call on Sundays. So coaching call on Tuesdays, coaching call on Thursdays, PDF resources, videos to help with everything that is related to my strategy, Elliott Wave, you know, investing, things like that, market analysis, potential setups. Let's see what else. Chart requests. So for the VIPs, we do chart requests Sundays, and that's where everyone sends in their chart requests, and then I'll go through the charts, analyze it, mark out the zones, mark out the wave counts, everything like that. Let's see, what else? What else we got? My investment thoughts, just anything that I'm looking at. That's pretty much it, honestly. But I mean, there are VIPs in this chat, so you can ask them, you know, if they like it, if they don't like it, you can, you know, personally ask them. They are in the chat right now. But so far it's been great. Great reviews. So, yeah, that's kind of what's in it. But if you have any other questions, man, about it, just send me a DM. Happy to answer them, you know, for you if you would like. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call it for tonight. And then we'll pick up. I have a webinar tomorrow that I have to go to, so I probably won't be on live tomorrow, but we'll pick up on Sunday for, covering some more charts and stuff on Sunday. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the Discord if you are in there. I am active in the free Discord as well. So there's a free side to the Discord and a paid group, depending on, kind of what level you would prefer. But there is a paid side as well with just a little bit more, detail and analysis and things like that for that side of the group. But there is a new like a free side too that I'm active in. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I will see all of y'all on Sunday for the next live, and in the Discord, I'll see y'all on the Discord. So hope you have a great rest of your night, man.